Chapter 1, Bonus Content. A conversation between Kate and Mariah. Entering Mariah's office, they engaged the privacy settings to ensure that their conversation wouldn't be overheard. The window looking out over the rolling hills turned into a screen, frosting on the outside to obscure the two women. "Shall we?" Mariah gestured to a comfortable couch, and the two sat down facing the blank screen. "I guess so. Protocols are keeping me from a sweet tea and a long bath, though." Kate smiles and gestures to the window, throwing images and videos up from her trip. Mariah leans forward. "Oh wow, is that what I think it is?" "Yes, we've finally finished manufacturing the lights." Kate beamed and sped up as she got into the specifics. "The luminosity and compact nature will give us twice as much with half the power consumption." She flipped a time-lapse to a bean sprout growing up towards the light in a dark room. Then the next video really caught Mariah's attention. She didn't interrupt Kate's debriefing, but her mind was already running through how she could use them. "Here, what you're seeing is we have the ability to mimic different wavelengths with the same unit, given perfect artificial circadian rhythms." Now the video showed a closed concrete room, with the reflection of the glow of a sunset on the wall, except there was no window. The application of the room lighting and design will, of course, be up to the architectural team, but we've tested a number of possible options. Images and time lapses filled the screen. Mariah took in all the different ways the lights were placed to hide them or trick the eye into seeing a room that was completely closed off, but felt like it was outdoors with windows and skylights. "We'll have the first batch delivered from overseas in a month, which is way ahead of schedule," Kate added to the report file. This would be archived, along with the new timeline she just added to the file. "This means we can get started with the next phase sooner than expected." Mariah was thinking fast. Her role here was to speak for the entire team. This debriefing would go into the archives, and people would be able to ask questions later, but if she could get ahead of it and ask the right questions now, it would save Kate time in the long run. "What is the power draw on these new units? Is there a limit on effective range? How quickly can we stockpile backups? How hard is it going to be to manufacture them locally on site? Did you check the conditions at the factory?" After each question, Kate filled in with the best of her knowledge. Once the rapid-fire question and answer session was done, both women leaned back exhausted. Mariah pressed the end recording button, and the window cleared to show the golden light of a setting sun. "It makes you look at it a bit differently, doesn't it?" Kate said as she snuck one of the packages of contraband sweets out, offering Mariah a strawberry Sour Patch candy. "Do you ever pinch yourself just to check it's really happening?" Mariah said, smiling as she took one of the sweets. "Thank you." "Oh, all the time." Kate's beautiful face darkened suddenly. "Things out there are getting far worse a lot faster than we predicted. I just hope we're not too late." She trailed off. Mariah took her friend's hand soothingly and gave it a gentle squeeze. "We've already done so much, but I know what you mean. I can't wait to take what you've created with these lights and find some way to get them into the food deserts. We would be able to produce so much more food." Kate smiled a little bit. "I did get to see one of our little eco-villages while I was over there. It's amazing. Like an oasis in a desert of pollution." Kate tucked away the sweets and got up off the couch. Mariah followed her out of the office, just as the sun set over the mountains. "Enough worrying about the whole world. I'll be over at 7 to get ready for tonight. I'll bring the wine if you heat up the curling iron." "Deal," Kate said, leaning in for a long hug. Mariah watched as her best friend rolled her bags down the hallway towards the elevators. She turned in the opposite way, headed towards the valley floor. She was so distracted by her conversation with Kate, she barely noticed much on the way home, across the hills to her little farmhouse. It wasn't until she was changing into her slinky dress that she had a thought. What had Kate meant by hoping they weren't too late? Too late for what? To save themselves? Or to save the world? Mariah had a sinking feeling that they wouldn't have enough time to save everyone. A sudden fear prickling her skin. Snap out of it. Today's about celebrating how far they had come. Everything they were doing tonight was just the first step in making the entire world a better place.